give 25%, right?
If you're lucky.
If we're lucky, I give 25%.
Because you're right.
It's weird. It's a catch-22. Like you're paying them to collect your money, but everything piles on top of each other. Every time we make a new record, it's a new debt. It's never separate. It's never like this.
Even on Hellcat.
No, they pile it. They keep piling. So if you haven't finished paying this record, you just added this much to this record.
Really?
They keep you in that's how they keep you in debt.
Because many people said, like, yeah, there are like rock stars now. They are on Epitaph. They have enough money. That's no problem for them.
That's perception. That's perception. That's perception. See, that's people when they're looking from the outside of the bubble. So many times, people look at us and they go, "Oh, those guys are rich now." Blah blah blah. You know. To work in this business, and to pay your bills means you're a sellout. You know what I mean?
The labels don't work for the bands work for the labels.
I mean, if you make a living at this shit, you're a sellout. But making a living at this shit means you come back from tour and you pay your bills. It doesn't mean you go out and you buy a fucking Lexus. It means you pay your bills. You give your wife the money to pay the fucking electric bill. Pay the money for the food for your kid. But people perceive that as selling out.
I consider that working class.
That's working class, exactly.
Is it possible to live just playing in a punk rock band?
No.
Definitely not.
21 years with Agnostic Front, no.
Not consistent.
Not consistent. You go for a year, you kind of get there. But you always got to go back to work. We all have our jobs. We all do our own things.
Yeah.
He's working at a thrift store. I work at the Harley Davidson shop. Al's making a living off it.
I'm the sellout here, man. I'm the fucking sellout here.
It's better now.
I make a living at this, but again, you know what I mean? I make a living at this now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who's to say what next year's going to bring?
Right, it took me 20 years to come to this level.
It took us 17 years to even start seeing it. It was in front. 17 years working, never saw anything. Finally, we saw a little bit of something. We split up some money.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a lot. 17 years, nothing. But for something, you know.
We also heard stories about like Agnostic Front and the DMS is a gang, and we also just gang.
It's true. It's true.
Kicking people.
No, we don't kick anybody for no reason, but it's the truth. DMS started as Doc Martin's Skins. It's the truth. It's a crew of brotherhood, not really a gang, but we stick together.
Because I read many shit about that in Maximum Rock and Roll.
Yeah, well, they're a bunch of fucking faggots.
Maximum Rock and Roll, that's left-wing faggot magazine.
Yeah, you know, those guys. Those guys have opinions. You know what? They're a bunch of students. They're the antithesis of a bunch of hypocrites right there, because they're living off of mom and dad's money as it is. Mom and dad pay their fucking rent and their bills. They go to school and they intern at Maximum Rock and Roll with all their opinions and their computer shit. They're not living in the real world. Fuck those guys.
Does that
guys will never show up and say what they think. It's a bunch of pussies.
It exists.
Okay.
Yeah, it does. I don't know. I don't read it.
Yeah, I felt like they fucking went under and like all the guys like.
No, I'll tell you what bullshit. I'll tell you what. 10 years I had the Bruises going. The last year I had the Bruises going. Finally, there's a guy working there named Bruce Royce.
Bruce Royce and Raimondo Murguia.
There's a few guys there that are good. You know, that write for the magazine, that don't represent what the magazine is.
Bruce is in my club. Bruce is in a Rumblers.
Bruce is a great guy.
Of the club.
But Bruce did an article on the Bruises. You know, like 4 pages in Maximum Rock and Roll. Finally, after fucking 10 years of it being existing, they finally fucking did it. So check it out, right? Tim Johannen's on his deathbed, right? And in the interview, I'm talking about unity in the scene and unity with the punks, the scans, hardcore, all the ethnic groups, everybody united. And I go, these aren't new ideas that I'm talking about here. Mickey Fitz from the business, Roger from Agnostic Front have been talking about these values and ideas for fucking years. And fucking that little part in that interview had to be taken out. Tim Johannen on his deathbed said, if that part about Roger Miret isn't taken out of that article, the whole article doesn't run. On his deathbed, he hated Agnostic Front to his deathbed. When he died, Vinny Stigma danced a jig. I'm glad he's fucking dead. Fuck that guy.
We're all looking for his grave to go piss on.
Take him to hell,
Wow.
He hated it.
Because in the end, I read in Maximum Rock and Roll all the good stuff about the Agnostic Front and Bruises. I mean,
because Bruce Roars is there now, and there's some people there that will tell the truth. But for the most part, first time I ever said Independence Day, I already said Independence Day. It was only a cassette. Bruce's Independence Day. Send it to Match and Rock and Roll. They sent it back unopened with a letter saying, "We will not run this Nazi fascist shit." If they had bothered opening Independence Day, on the first page it says, "This record is dedicated to the working class of all races and religions." Because we didn't put that on the front cover of the thing, he says to me, I called him up on the fucking phone and I said, "Let me tell you something. I've been buying your magazine since 1981, and you're telling me, and I always look to your magazine to make my own choices, and now you're making those choices for me, and that's not what it's supposed to be about. And you didn't even bother to look in and see that when."
And he's like, "Well, I'd like to know, first off now, do you guys beat up homosexuals?"
I said, "Well, Tim, I've never beaten up a homosexual to my knowledge because he's a homosexual. If someone fucks with me, if he's gay or straight, I don't care, I'll fuck him up. But I've never fucking beaten up a guy just because he's gay."
Okay, you passed that test. What about flag burning? How do you feel about flag burning?
I said, "I don't like flag burning. I don't think you should burn any country's flag because it's disrespectful for the people that fought for those countries. It's disrespectful to the forefathers. So I don't think you should burn any country's flag. It's disrespectful."
Well, I don't know about that.
I said, "Let me ask you a question, Tim Yohannan. You run fucking G.G. Allen ads in your magazine.
Right.
G.G. Allen talks about fucking little girls and little boys." I go, "That's all right? You're telling me that's okay? You're going to say that goes through the shit filter in your magazine?"
Well, Al, you got me there, he says. But he explains it away with this. "I guess we've been hit by more skinheads than by GG feces."
And that was the end of the conversation.
No fucking way.
And they wouldn't run it. It was 8 years from that point, 8 years before they ever would touch the Bruisers again.
It's amazing.
And that's that fucking magazine.
you're from Boston and
I'm from New Hampshire. Live free or die.
Because
That's our state motto.
they always had problems with Boston bands and New York bands. Always talk about the right-wing bands, accused and...
You know what it is? It's because they don't understand the East Coast. Like Roger said, they never understand the East Coast. They never would look, they just look at the surface, like the Dropkick Murphys, they have the same thing. They think all their songs are about drinking. It's like, look further, read the words. It's not about drinking, it's about what happens to you when you live a life of being a drunk, and the effects of that. Yeah, there's good times, but there's a lot of bad fucking times too, and that's what it's about. But the thing with Max and Rock and Roll magazines like that, all they ever do is they scratch the fucking surface of things. They scratch the surface, you know? They don't ever dig deep. They don't want to know. They used to. There was a time when that magazine was, I think,
All those people left. I gave up on that magazine.
Only because of that very reason.
I gave up on the magazine. We had this one interview. Timmy Anderson, I wanted to do an interview. I asked the questions, you answer. I said, okay. He goes, I answered back. I said, only if you let me finish the interview. He says, okay. So he sent me questions, I answered. He sends me back more questions, and I finish, I answer, okay. He added on top of it. He had the last say, so he went against the deal I made with him. No, it's okay.
I remember Jimmy.
He made against the deal, and then I met him. I met him in San Francisco, and we had a bet. First one hit him, $10. A bet. He's an old man, so we're looking like shit. We can't hit this guy.
Yeah.
He's old.
And he was sick too.
It was over.
Yeah.
We can't hit this guy. So he goes. So we sat down. Me, Timmy Yohannan sat down, and we talked. We had coffee.
Don't forget the time.
Yeah. Never forget the fire. We talked. And he's like, well. And he came to the show. He saw the show. He goes, you know something? I was right. I've been wrong about you guys because I thought that I just judged every skinhead by its cover just because of what I saw was happening on the West Coast, just assumed it was happening on the East Coast. I'm really sorry, blah, blah, blah. And I thought everything's fine, okay? A month later, something else comes up. He writes some bullshit.
Those days were pretty rough.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but again, those days were rough, but the thing is